All right, welcome to our gentle class this week. And our theme this week is rest. So, our overall theme for the whole session has been around vitality and kind of restoring or increasing our vitality. And one of the things that's really important when it comes to feeling our best selves is that we get enough rest. And of course, that means that we sleep at night and ideally sleep well and sleep, 7, 8 hours at night, but also that we take times during the day to check in with ourselves and to give ourselves little breaks. And I know I'm really guilty sometimes of just putting my head down and going and not stopping. But taking these times to check in with ourselves, see how we're doing, have a little even mindfulness break where we just pay attention for a few minutes and break the cycle of being busy or stressed. Now, that may not be the case for you. Maybe your life is the opposite. Maybe there's not enough going on and you feel lethargic. And so even constructive rest, even when you're not doing much, can be rejuvenating. Right. So having time where you're not just sitting around thinking about what you could or should do, but that you're really paying attention and you're tuning into yourself and you're tuning into your energy, you're tuning into your body sensations, and then really letting your body rest. So the nervous system has the gas pedal, right, and the brakes. And that corresponds to the sympathetic nervous system, which is the gas pedal. Parasympathetic nervous system is the brakes. And when we're go, it's like we've got our foot on the gas, right? And we can do that only for so long, and then we get burned out. And so we need these times where we come back to ourselves. And in yoga, the same is true, right? We put in some effort. We try to keep as much ease in the effort as possible. And then in between, we take a rest to integrate the work that we've done and to really be present and to notice what's going on in our bodies. And then we go back to some effort and back to relaxation, right? So often we kind of do more effort and then relax at the end of the class. Today, we're going to do a little more periodic relaxation throughout, and we're going to start with the rest today. So if you have a blanket, and if you're watching the replay, you can always press pause and grab a blanket if you like. So we're going to do a supported back bend using a blanket to support the spine. And I have one of these Mexican blankets, which are quite commonly used for yoga, and they work quite well for this because they're not too fluffy, right? They've got some structure to them. So I've just got it folded twice right now. And there's two different ways that you can go about creating this support for your spine. So we're just trying to create a long section. And one way is to simply roll your blanket up, okay? That can create just a tube. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to balance on that. So the way that I prefer is to actually make an accordion with the blanket. So instead of rolling it, you put it into sections. And I think I've got a friend on my mat here. I'm just going to ask to vacate. You go. There you go. Go in your bed. Great. And so then I can show you here. So if you take your blanket and you bring it to the ground, and you're just going to fold it back and forth on itself into something that is like this, right? So it's got folds, but it's flat. Back on my mat. Up you get. Up you get. Go on. Up you get. There you go. There you go. Then you're going to take your blanket. And if you don't want to use it, it's totally fine. Okay? So you can do this without the blanket. We're trying to get a little more space and opening across the chest. And that works against our tendency to sort of crunch up when we're sitting or standing. So you're going to take your blanket and put it along the ground or your mat if you're using a mat, so that where your head is, if you've got tassels on your blanket, you want them where your head is. And then you're going to come to sit on your mat beyond the blanket. So you're not sitting on the blanket, you're sitting on the mat or the floor. The blanket is pulled up close to your sacrum, to the back of your pelvis. And then from there, you can lie back down. So if your bum is on the ground and your lower back is uncomfortable, you might lift up your hips and tuck your tail under a little bit so your lower back is lengthened. And then if your blanket is shorter, you're going to tuck the end under your, sorry, if your blanket is longer, you're going to tuck the end under your head to make a little pillow. If it's shorter and your head is off the blanket, you might want to bring a little pillow under your head so that you feel supported. So then once you get there, find the position with your arms, with your legs that's most comfortable. So that could be arms out to the sides, legs could be bent or straight. And staying here, tuning into your body now, feeling your body let go of the effort of your day, whatever came before showing up here for this class. Tuning into any sensations that are present in your body. And you really want to make sure that your shoulders and arms are comfortable. So really play around. So if you can lift them out to about shoulder height, arms to shoulder height, if that's comfortable, stay there. If not, bring them a little lower. So the idea is that your spine is under the blanket, your shoulders are opening around the blanket, and your arms are relaxed on the ground. And start to tune into the movement of your breath. So we're just really trying to get a little more present here, noticing, tuning in, feeling, being present with your body, with your breath. Notice if you're clenching anywhere, be around your jaw or your hands or your abdomen or your buttocks. Those are common areas where we might hold tension, but there may be other areas for you. Let your exhale particularly be complete. So you're fully exhaling, not forcing or pushing the breath out. Just letting it be, letting it go. Just feeling what it's like for you to take this moment just to relax. So let your body be still for a moment. Let your mind come into this moment with your breath, with your body. And knowing that there's nowhere else you need to be and nothing you need to do right now. And when we can start to relax the body, the systems of the body actually work better. The parasympathetic nervous system is where we, excuse me, relax, where we are relaxed and calm. And when we're relaxed and calm, the systems of the body work better. When we're stressed, there's tension in the body, it restricts blood flow, ultimately affects all parts of the body. So learning to relax is key to our good health. It's not just an indulgence. So as you lie here, now noticing any emotions or any mood that may be present for you. Any stories that may come into your mind, perhaps about what you should or shouldn't be doing, or whatever is present for you, simply noticing. So we're going to move into some movements in a moment, and you're going to stay lying down. So if you have been using a blanket to support the opening of your chest by supporting the spine, you probably want to come off that blanket. And the easiest way, the safest way to do that without straining your neck is just to let your knees go to one side, let your whole body roll to that side, and then you can use your opposite hand to help lift you up onto an elbow, maybe move that blanket out of the way, and then just come on back down. So coming onto your back now and taking a moment to settle. And then when you're ready, you can bring your knees up towards your body. And you'll draw the knees in towards you and move the knees away from you. So drawing towards you, bending the elbows, straightening the arms, moving away. And see if you can bring the ease of the relaxation into this posture. So this is a pretty easy posture for most people, not for everybody. Bringing as much softening and ease to this movement as possible, and then as much mindfulness as well. And so things are more restful when we're paying our full attention. If we're scattered and we're elsewhere, it feels like so much more effort. Right, and then we'll bring one foot to the floor. And the hands can relax on the body or on the floor. If you want, you can hold your leg for this one, but it's not necessary. I'm going to start to warm up the big muscles in the thighs, so stretching and bending the knee, one leg at a time. And you're just going into really sense the first bit of stretch, not pushing yourself past your limits in any way, just noticing, oh, there's a bit of stretch, and releasing. And if that feels good and you want a little more, you can straighten the leg a little more if it's available to you. Notice I'm not pulling with my hands at all. So I'm letting my leg do the work. So the contraction of my quadriceps in front encourage the back of my leg to lengthen. So I get warmed up using both sets of muscles here. You might feel your thigh even warming up a little bit and working. Then you can hold the leg straight. Straight is relative, right? Relative to how it feels for you. So maybe certainly a little bit bent or even a lot bent. And then circling your ankle around. And see if you can just stay really present with the sensations, with yourself, making this into a mindfulness practice as you move. Great. And then pressing your heel up toward the ceiling, we're going to bring the legs straight down to the ground. If that feels like a strain for you, you'll just bend your knee and bring it down. So otherwise, we're going to engage the core, press down toward the ground and in toward the center to protect your lower back. Keep your one foot flat on the floor as you slowly lower the other leg. And you'll feel the muscles engaged, but see if you can do it without tensing up your face, your shoulders, your neck, your hands, so that your core and that leg, both legs really are working. You can hover over the ground if you like and really tune in. Can I use the effort of my lower body while relaxing my upper body? And then slowly release that foot down. Let that leg completely relax now. Let your foot fall to the side. And notice, what do you feel in that leg now as you've done a little bit of effort and now come back to relaxation? Just take a moment to notice what's present. What are you aware of? What do you feel? And then we're going to bend that knee and move into that posture on the other side, that movement. So knee comes in. Again, you can hold the leg if you like, but it's just as effective to not hold. And we'll straighten and bend. Again, you want to feel the contraction at the front to help release and open the back of the leg, releasing each time after you feel a little bit of stretch. And that's going to look different on everyone. Okay? So for me, my leg is almost straight when I feel the stretch, but if I were to bring it closer to my body, I need to bend it. Okay? So it's not about what it looks like, but what it feels like in your body. And then you can leave the leg in the air, circle your ankle around. Circling one way and the other. And then you can gently press the heel toward the ceiling. That will engage the leg. Press down into the opposite foot, engage through the core. And keeping that engagement. Remember, if it feels like you're straining, please bend your knee as you lower the leg. And then otherwise, slowly lower while you keep the rest of your body relaxed. So the core, the hips, the legs are working, but can you keep the arms relaxed, the face, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. You can hover your foot over the ground if you like. And then really focus on where can I soften and relax? Where do I need to put effort? As you release the foot down, let that whole leg relax. Let the foot fall out to the side. Notice and feel whatever sensations are present. I feel a little tingling and warmth as circulation comes back into my leg. You might feel something similar or something different. So just noticing. Right, so let's bend that knee again. We'll bring both knees up in toward the chest, one hand on each knee. For this one, we'll stretch both legs toward the ceiling and then bend them in toward the body. You can do a multitude of different things with your hands. They can rest on your knees or behind your thighs. Or if you like, you can extend them either overhead or out to the side as you extend your legs, and then bring them back to your knees as you bring the knees in. Reaching out and drawing back in. If that feels like effort, so it can feel like a lot of work for the core to lift the legs like that. We've already done a fair bit, so if that feels like a lot, you can go back to forward and back, which is where we started tonight. If you like, you can also circle the knees. And then let's come back to feet on the floor. We'll work with bridge pose now. So bridge is where we're lifting the hips. And we want to keep the upper body, again, really relaxed. So this is the pose where the legs do most of the work and the upper body just comes along for the ride, more or less. So we're going to bring the arms to the floor and let the arms relax. If it's comfortable, you can turn your palms to the ceiling. Otherwise, palms down is fine as well. Line your heels up underneath your knees, feet about hip distance apart. And we'll start by gently pressing the feet down into the ground, and you'll probably feel your pelvis tilt so the tailbone starts to lift as the lower back moves toward the ground. And then take your time, slowly using your legs, lifting the hips up. So you'll feel your legs working. See if you can imagine that your upper body kind of goes along for the ride. Lowering down. So lifting, and take your time. Make sure you're breathing as you do this, but there's no particular way you need to breathe. So lift, you can hold there for a breath and really check in. Am I relaxing my shoulders, neck, face, jaw, arms here? And then release, slowly come down. Maybe do this 2 more times. So you're coming up with lots of ease, feeling your legs strong, or maybe feeling your legs working hard, relaxing your upper body, releasing down. One more time. So coming down, take a rest for a few breaths. Check in with how your legs feel, since we've just done quite a bit of work with the thighs. So check in, and this time when we lift into bridge pose, I will invite you, if you like, you can hold the pose if that feels like too much for you. And so we want to find that nice balance of effort and ease. So it feels like too much effort, just come on down. And we want to find the ease in the upper body with the effort, the effortless effort, we'll say, in the legs. So as little effort as required to hold the pose. So when you're ready, coming up slowly into the pose. And then really finding that softening in the upper body, working with your legs. You feel your legs, feel the engagement in your hips, your thighs. For some people, hamstring cramps can happen in this pose if you're really engaged in the legs, which is where the back of the legs kind of feel like they cramp up. If that's the case, you just come on down and stretch the hamstrings a bit. Often just releasing is enough to release the cramp. So coming down as you're ready. And again, now relax your hips. You can stretch your legs out as long as that's comfortable for you. Let both feet fall out to the sides, away from each other. Feel your legs now completely let go of the effort. Notice the sensations that are present as you let your legs relax. The blood flow comes back into what was restricted. Let's see what you're aware of as you tune in. We'll take a few more breaths here with this short rest. And the constructive rest, it's really about tuning in and being present, letting go of the past and the future in terms of what you should have done, what you maybe should do in the future, and trying to be as present as possible in this moment. So when you're ready again, we'll bend the knees, bring the feet to the ground, knees pointing at the ceiling. And we'll start with just that little rocking motion with the knees going a few inches one way and the other, just releasing the area around the sacrum. You can also give your legs a little shake here, sort of in and out, or whatever feels good. Just releasing. And then coming back to stillness, we're going to come into a gentle twist here. So now the knees can go a little further to the side, maybe your head turns the opposite direction. And I'm going to encourage you not to worry about how you're breathing here. Just let the body move in the most easeful rhythm possible. If it feels good for you to stay to the side for a breath or however long feels good for you, you can do that as you come down. Back to the center in your own time. Really luxuriate in this movement. And if what I'm suggesting doesn't feel good to your body, then go back to one of the other moves. Maybe back to just a little rocking side to side or giving your legs a little shake. And maybe the full twist doesn't feel right for your back today. So honoring, listening, and doing what feels best for you. Okay, and then eventually making your way back to the center. Again, we'll bring the knees up toward the chest. So after the twist, we want to stretch and lengthen, release the lower back. And you can repeat either the back and forth movement that we've done a couple times already, or you can lift and squeeze the knees in if you prefer that movement. A little release, a little lengthening. And again, any other movement that might feel good. So circling or rocking. It's as if you're massaging your back against the ground with your movement. Right, and then eventually we'll bring the feet back to the ground, come to the center. Okay. And now I encourage you to really find a position where your legs can relax. So for me, taking the feet wider than the knees, letting the knees fall together is really relaxing for my legs and hips. For others, it may be more relaxing to have the legs straight. So just find a place where you can kind of put your legs and then forget about them. And then we'll work a little bit more with the upper body, the arms, the body. So bring the arms alongside your body. We're going to make the hands into fists. Squeeze the hands. And then bring the squeeze up through your arms, right up to your shoulders. Bring your shoulders toward your ears. And hold that tight. But see if you can keep everything else in your body as relaxed as possible. The arms and shoulders are working in the muscles that are needed for that action. And everything else as relaxed as possible. And then let the arms go. Let them come to the ground, relax, and notice after you release the tension, what are you aware of? What sensations are you feeling in your arms now? And then let's bring some engagement to the muscles of the core, the belly, the lower back area. So it's like we're squeezing around the middle of the body. Squeeze in, and it's hard to squeeze just the middle, so you might feel you're squeezing your hips a little bit or your legs a little bit, but try to concentrate the effort around your core. Squeeze and pull, and then try to relax your arms, shoulders, legs, chest. And then relax and notice how this area feels as you let go of holding tension in the belly and lower back. And then let's squeeze the face. You clench the jaw gently. Squeeze your face. And as you squeeze your face, see if you can relax everything from the neck down. And then gradually release the squeezing of your face. Let your face relax, your shoulders, your arms, your chest and belly, your legs. And take a moment to notice what's present, what sensations you're aware of now. So we're going to make our way over to all fours. So again, the easiest way to transition, the most easeful, restful way is to roll to your side. Use your opposite hand and your elbow to help draw you upright. And then you can swing right around to come onto your hands and knees. If your knees are a bit sensitive, use that blanket if you've got it handy that you had underneath you earlier. And honor your wrists. So if you need breaks for your wrists at any time, take them. You can come to child's pose. You can also roll the end of your mat up to make a little more cushioning for your wrists if that's helpful for you. So here, inhaling, finding a little arch in the back, exhaling and rounding. You could add child's pose if you like, but it's not a requirement. Inhaling, soft elbows. Bring as much of the feeling of relaxation from earlier into this movement. So let go of striving, pushing. Find ease and softness. Let your head come down as you round your back. The head just lifts slightly in line with your spine as you come upright into the arched position. And then when you're ready, if you're ready to add more, as you inhale, you can lift one leg as you lift the chest. And then exhale, child's pose or rounding into cat pose. So inhaling, you're on all fours. The opposite leg lifts now, so you're alternating sides. Going at your own pace each time you inhale and come to all fours. One leg lifts and then the other on the next breath. Right, and then next time you're on all fours and you're lifting one leg, you stay there. Flex your foot so your toes point down toward the floor, and then bend your knee so the sole of your foot points toward the ceiling. So again, if you find that your leg starts to cramp, just come on down. You can stretch out the back of the leg. And otherwise, we're going to slightly lift and slightly lower the knee. So we're engaging those big muscles in the hip, the buttock, back of the thigh. So lifting and lowering. Feel some effort here. Great. And if you're still with me, we're going to follow up by rounding the back, bringing that knee close to the nose, squeezing in, and then releasing. And then before we do the other side, let's move back to child's pose for a moment. You can also alternatively just come down on two forearms. The idea here is really just to take a break for the wrists. If child's pose is comfortable, great. Otherwise, just on the forearms. And if you feel particularly tight in the wrists, you might do a little movement with your hands while you're here to release the wrists. Great. And then when you're ready, come back to all fours and we'll do the other side. So stretching the leg out, flex your foot so toes point down, bend your knee so sole of the foot points to the ceiling, and then a little lift and a little lower. Keep breathing and really notice when you feel like you've moved from effort into strain, then that is definitely the time to let this movement go. If you can still stay relaxed in your jaw, your face, your shoulders, and keep lifting and lowering the leg without getting all tense about it, then you can continue. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring that knee in towards your nose, squeeze in, exhale fully, and then release. Right, so now again, we'll come into whatever version of child's pose works for you. So it could be coming onto your elbows. What I like to do here is to take my knees a little wider, sit back on my heels, but that's going to require your knees and your ankles to go along. So if not, stay more upright. And then you can either come onto your forearms, or if it's available, your head might come onto your hands or onto the ground. So we'll stay here for a few breaths. And the idea here is it's not really an official rest. Right? So child's pose, there's some restriction in the body. For some people, you could sleep here, but for probably most people, there's a little more constriction here than would be really comfortable when it comes to taking a full deep rest. So pause here, tune into the breath, check in with how you're doing. Take a moment. When you're ready, come back upright. And we're going to work a little bit with lunge pose now. And so you might find, if you were using a blanket earlier, or if you have a blanket handy, you might find it helpful to fold it over and bring it under your knees. Again, not a requirement, but you might find that it is helpful. And then you can come up to a kneeling position. Again, just really honor your own body. If something I suggest isn't good for you, feel free to modify, feel free to skip a pose and rest. That is our theme this week. So from here, we'll take 1 foot forward. You want to have your foot a little bit ahead of your knee, and then reach down with your hands. If you can't quite reach one hand on either side, it's okay to bring your hands to the same side, or if you have blocks, you can use them. Another option, and you probably want to have this set up earlier, is a couple of chairs. So like a kitchen chair on either side of you that you could use to support you. So hopefully you've got an option that will work for you. And we're going to rock a little forward, coming into a lunge, stretching front part of the back leg. And then rocking back. When you rock back, you want to make sure that you're not taking this hip way back beyond your knee. And so you're just rocking back to neutral and then rocking forward. So that same idea of kind of going into the stretch and then backing out of the stretch. Another option here, if you don't have a blanket, is you can take your mat and just fold it in half to get sort of a double layer of padding. Great. So next time you come into that lunge position, you can stay for a few breaths. And you might notice my knee here is right over my ankle. Right? So that's a good position. If your foot is way back close to your body and your knee is beyond your ankle, and I can actually feel the strain on my knee as I do that. So you want to protect your knee by keeping it over your ankle. And then the next part is totally optional. It's a little more challenging, but if you're feeling stronger, you can tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee up. And then you really want to think about kind of pulling together at the core. So your back hip moves forward and your forward hip moves back a little bit, and you're engaging the muscles around your hips and pelvis. All right. For those of you who are feeling really strong, you could even try bringing your hands up onto your front knee. So a lot more effort here. Try to find the ease in the effort so the legs are doing the work, the upper body is as relaxed as possible. And if you are here or here, that's great. If you're even back out of the lunge, that's perfect. So you're listening to your body, honoring it. Come down as you're ready if you're still in the pose. And we'll take that leg that we brought forward and bring it back. And come into a little bit of movement like the cat-cow again. So all fours to child's pose, or just arching and rounding here and tuning in. So we take these easeful times, even if it's not exactly rest, but coming back to a nice easy movement in between, so we can assess, how was that on my body? Did I go too far? Did I do too much? How am I feeling? Right? A rest or an easy pose helps us to tune back in. Because sometimes we get into a pose and it might feel good to kind of push ourselves, but we realize later that might have been a bit too much. So with that in mind, let's move into that same movement on the other side. So you can take the other leg forward. Again, if you start out with your front foot ahead of your knee, once you rock forward, it'll put you in a little better position. So again, you can use blocks, chairs, you can bring both hands over to the inside if you like, or fingertips on the ground, and we'll rock forward and back, easing into that deeper stretch for the front of the hip flexors. These muscles that help to lift the leg in front of you, to flex at the hip joint. Big big muscles that get really tight, especially from sitting. And the psoas muscle connects your legs to your torso. So it's really a very important, big, strong muscle to stretch and to be aware of. So again, if you're here and you want to stay here, that's great. If you want to keep rocking back and forth, absolutely fine. If you're feeling strong and want to challenge yourself today, and that feels like it would be able to happen with still some ease in your body, then you can try tucking your toes under, lifting the knee. And then again, you want to engage. So I'm drawing back with my front hip, forward with my back hip, and that asks the muscles of my groins to engage. That's going to keep me from overstretching, keep me safer here. And then again, if you're feeling strong and you want a bit more challenge, you can bring your hands onto your front knee. So again, soft shoulders, soft arms, soft upper body. The legs are doing the work here. When you're ready, bring your hands down. So wherever you are, and we might all be in vastly different places because I've given you lots of different options here, we're going to make our way to a standing forward bend. So however you get there is fine. You can bring your hands or elbows up to your thighs if that's a better position for you, or let your body hang with slightly bent knees. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees a little more and come all the way up with a long spine, reaching your arms up overhead, and then releasing. So we are now standing in Tadasana or mountain pose. And just as we rested on the ground lying down, we can also come to a rest standing. So again, it's not as perfect a rest as lying down because we do have to use some effort to stand. But unlike child's pose, when we're standing, there's no restriction on the breath or anywhere really on the body. So we can relax everything that we don't need in order to stand. So take a moment and see if you can find that balance point between the front and back of your feet, so the toes and the heels. Finding a balance point between those two. With just a little more weight usually into the heels, so you will feel that your thighs engage to hold you. Make sure your weight is even from one foot to the other. Let your shoulders release down. See if you can relax your belly. So we're often told that a flat belly is more attractive, so we hold our bellies tight, and this is the absolute worst thing we can do. So a tight muscle is a weak muscle. So in order for your stomach muscles, for your core to actually be strong, we need to actually be able to relax the belly. So see if you can relax your belly. If it helps you, bring a hand there. Let your belly be soft, let it be relaxed. Shoulders relaxed, face, jaw, neck relaxed. So relax whatever you can without losing the ability to stand upright. So if I were to completely relax my legs, they would just crumple, right? So I need to keep some tone. And I'm consciously relaxing everything else I'm aware of that's holding tension. Right? And I get these little glimpses, just these split seconds of effortlessness, and then my body shifts and something engages, and then I have to work a little bit, and then there's a moment of effortlessness. See if you can find those little moments where there's very little or no effort. And then I challenge you, next time you're in the grocery store, lined up or standing somewhere waiting, that you work to find the least amount of effort in your standing, to find the relaxation in the effort of standing. So let's now take the feet a little bit apart. Soften the knees a bit. Let's do some circles with the hips. So after the effort of the lunge pose, especially if you did the lifted lunge where you brought the knee up, there's a lot of work in the hips and the legs. So releasing with some movement here. And then let's come back to the center, press down with the heels. And we're going to imagine the body split in half, more or less down the center. And one side is as relaxed as possible, and the other side is going to engage. So imagine one side really engaging the leg, pressing into the foot, engaging through the hip, up through the arm, reaching the arm up towards the ceiling, and then relaxing the opposite side. So relax the opposite knee, the shoulder, the arm, as you reach up with the other side. And then if you want a little bit more, you can add a bit of a side bend. So you're reaching up and over as you extend that engaged side while still continuing to keep the other side relaxed. Let's come back to the center and release. Notice how that one side feels now, the engaged or active side compared with the other side. And then we'll do the opposite. So we're going to relax the side that we just engaged, engage the side we relaxed, press down into the heel, drop up through the leg, reaching up with the arm, engaging that side of the body while you soften and relax the other side. It takes a lot of concentration, actually. Relax the knee on that side, the arm, shoulder, and then if you want a little more, reaching up and over. Great, not so far that you can't stay there and still keep that other side really nice and loose. When you're ready, come on back up, release that arm. Good, again, notice how it feels on the side that you were engaged with versus the side that was relaxed. Just bringing some awareness there. And then we'll bring the feet in so they're under the hips, coming back to mountain pose. And we'll come into a few forward bends, nice and easy here. So inhaling to lift the arms, soften your knees, exhale, sweep forward. Hands can come to the knees, shins, or right down toward the ground if you can reach. And coming up with the breath in. So repeating that movement at your own pace, in your own time. And do a few more on your own. And if you like, you can stay in the forward bend. Next time you come forward, if that feels good for you, again, you could keep your elbows or hands on your knees or let your body hang forward. And we're going to start to make our way back down to the ground. So you can get there however you like. Maybe you're lowering one knee or first coming to a squat or whatever works for you. And once you come to the ground, we're going to make our way back onto our backs. You could, if you like, use that blanket now as a pillow. Such a versatile prop. So knees can be bent or straight. We'll take a couple of minutes to really tune in, and then we'll move into Shavasana. So coming here to a still place. Hands resting on the body where you can feel your breath. So maybe one hand around the solar plexus, one hand on the belly. Just tuning in now, the rhythm and movement of your breath. Excuse me. As you start to slow down and let go of the effort of the practice. So today has been about effort contrasted with relaxation, effort and then relaxation, and then also holding both of those in the body at once. But now letting go of the effort, coming into an awareness of the movement of your breath without any effort as much as possible. Feel your breath as it is. Let it come, let it go, without trying to control a thing. See if you can start to bring a little bit more awareness to your exhalation and a feeling of dropping and letting go as you exhale. And we'll slowly move into Shavasana, so letting go of the breath awareness exercise as you're ready. And if you want to find a different position, if you want to stretch your legs out or use a bolster or a blanket rolled up under your knees or whatever else would make you more comfortable, please take the time to do that. And then once you find whatever position you like, just again, letting go of that breath awareness and just being now completely just letting go of the effort of anything, of following the breath, of doing movement. If there's any movement that your body needs to do before Shavasana, feel free, but then coming to stillness as you're ready. Being seated is also an option for Shavasana. Most choose to lie down, and for our theme of rest today, it is a really nice option to really lie down and let your body completely relax. But if sitting is more comfortable or a better option for you, it's always a possibility. So now as you settle, start to bring your awareness down to your feet. And as you bring your awareness to your feet, see if you can relax your feet even a little bit more. Notice where your feet make contact with the ground. And see if you can even more fully surrender to that support. As you exhale, let your feet go. And then bring your awareness to your ankles and calves. Notice if there's any holding there, and if you're able to soften a little more, soften. With your exhale, completely surrendering any tension into the ground. Let it go. And then bringing your awareness further up to your knees and your thighs. Noticing, could I let go of any holding here in this area of my body? And with an exhale, completely surrendering the knees and thighs and letting go. And then letting your attention come to the area around your hips and pelvis. Lots of areas to potentially hold tension here. So checking in the lower part of the abdomen, the pelvic floor, the buttocks. And seeing if there's any more softening that can come into this area of the body, any more surrender or release, relaxation. And then exhaling, let your pelvis sink down, letting go of effort, holding tension as much as possible. And bringing your awareness to the area of your torso, the lower back, upper back, chest, and belly. And notice any tendency to be holding tension in this area of your body, and as much as possible, especially as you exhale, soften, relax, and let go. Bringing your awareness now to your shoulders and arms, noticing what's present, bringing your awareness to whatever is holding you back from fully relaxing in your shoulders and arms. And as much as possible, as much as your body is able and will allow, softening with your exhale, surrendering and letting go. Let the arms and shoulders release. And then letting your attention come to your throat, neck, face, and head. Noticing whatever tension is there and seeing what you're able to release through your conscious awareness, letting go. As you exhale, let the weight of your head sink down, soften wherever you're able, throat, neck, head, face, jaw. Noticing, is there anywhere in your body where you still feel like you're holding and that you're able to bring more ease? Let the breath come and go with as little effort as possible. If your mind feels busy while your body is relaxed, try to simply notice that with compassion, but without bringing any extra tension or trying to push away. Simply notice. And in that noticing, we can find a little more ease rather than in the pushing away. So as you rest for a couple of more minutes, I'll chant for you one of the many, many chants that offer us the suggestion of coming into a sense of peace in our bodies, minds, and spirits, in our hearts, in our breath. Peace in our words, in our actions, in our thoughts. Peace throughout our entire system. Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indra Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Vritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmavavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So I usually offer you the option to stay in Shavasana if you want more rest, more integration from the practice. I especially want to extend that invitation tonight if you're feeling like your body just really wants more time to integrate and rest, please take it. And if you're feeling refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to move out of Shavasana, then I invite you to start to bring in a little movement, maybe deepen your breath and invite a bit more energy into your body as you move and breathe more deeply. And eventually, as you start to wake your system up through movement, if you're choosing to do so, you can roll to your side, again, as we did a couple times during the class, to come upright with support. Eventually coming back to a seated position, again, if that's your choice right now. Honoring what your body really needs and craves right now. And then if you're ready, you can bring your hands together at your heart. And I invite you to create an intention of really tuning in to the rejuvenation of rest. Taking little rest, even 1 or 2 minutes when you really need it, rather than waiting until you're exhausted. Using that little bit of self-care to help you to navigate your own energy levels as you navigate your life. Namaste.